Gridiron Grinder! Hut hut hike!
Yo, yo, yo. It is Thursday night, Gridiron Grinder time. I'm Ryan. With me, as always, my buddy James. Just a couple of dudes hanging out, talking about what's going on in the NFL each week. Hitting another Thursday night so we can watch the game in the background while we're getting up to our festivities. And so tonight we're going to be providing our Week 10 power rankings and game picks. And so, with all that being said, how's it going tonight, there, my man?
It's going all right. How's it going with you?
Pretty good. I think that your picture's like appropriate, even though it's not California. But I'm guessing it's still a little sunny where you're at, even though it's fucking dark as shit where I'm at.
Uh, it's dark.
It's getting dark
It's
over there.
nighttime. Yeah.
Okay.
Sun goes down at like 5.
All right, that's that time of year. I thought you might have still had a little bit of light, but that's all right. We did just have daylight savings time, so it's even earlier now. But that's cool. Well, hey, man, I guess whenever you're ready, no reason to chew up our three viewers' time. Why don't you give me your 1 through 5, bud?
All right. So, like I was telling you, like I was kind of stuck on my 1 through 5 because like with having Tampa at 3, I didn't know, and then being on a bye, like I didn't know what the fuck to do here. I don't think Tampa's the best team.
Yeah,
I did the Lions just beat Tampa, and like I didn't know what the fuck to do. So I left 1 through 3 the same with the Colts, Lions, Bucks. Then I moved the Rams up one spot and the Packers down one spot. They kind of like the Packers kind of got stuck at that one spot because I don't think Buffalo or I don't think the next few teams are better than them.
yeah.
But also they did lose to Carolina, but they kind of stuck and were locked, couldn't fall that much further. There.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Yeah, my board, top to bottom, sort of had a couple of wonky moves that had to like dictate some shuffling and things like that I maybe normally wouldn't have done. And so at the top five, I would say the one thing that maybe helped me facilitate it a little bit is that I already had Denver up pretty high. And so this just kind of gave them the time to be in the spotlight for me. And so I dropped Indy 1, I bumped Denver 1, and then Philly was 3. They didn't play, they didn't move. I ended up moving Buffalo up 4 spots. And then Kansas City, I dropped 1. And so I'm not a huge fan of having Buffalo this high, but they did assert some dominance over Kansas City, which is their biggest rival. And Kansas City was kind of getting hot in recent weeks. And so, I guess like at the end of the day, I kind of was able to be okay with it in my mind, but it's not, I would say it's not my favorite board right now. So back
Yeah.
to you at 6, man.
And I have
Or yeah,
I have Buffalo at 6, and with that, like I moved them up the one spot, but like really honestly, I didn't really like moving them up the one spot. Like you said, because they always beat Kansas City in the regular season. That was a nice catch.
oh yeah.
But they suck it out. So I gave them a little bit this week.
They're
Chargers.
beating shit teams and they're losing to good teams. They just finally beat a good team. And so it's
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And Chargers moved up one spot, Broncos moved up one spot, Patriots moved up one spot, and the Chiefs moved down 4. And yeah, you can make the argument the Chiefs lost to the top 6 team I have, but also I just don't like the penalties don't go the Chiefs' way and they can't win.
Yeah, you're right. That's kind of bullshit, isn't it? And hey, for the first time in forever, they fucking called Juwan Taylor for his bullshit lining up a mile in the backfield, right? And
Yeah.
so I thought that was funny. Like, oh, you're finally gonna ding him even though he's done it like 817 times already this year.
Every play he does, you could ding him for it, and they
Yeah.
don't. So
All right. So on my side, I got Detroit at 6. I dropped him one spot. I did feel compelled to go lower, but I paused just because of all the other weird kind of things that were happening on the board this week. At 7, Tampa Bay, they were on a bye, so they didn't move, and that was kind of also one of the reasons why I didn't, ding Detroit more than just the one spot drop. At 8, the Rams, I moved them up one spot. I have seen that some sources like NFL.com and some other sources, they've got the Rams at 1 now. And I do think that the Rams are showing potential of a solid complementary team. I just can't get on board with them being 1. I don't trust Stafford that much. In the defense, they've been getting pressure on the quarterback as of lately, but they've been inconsistent this year. And so I'm just not convinced yet. 9, I've got Seattle. Fucking Darnold, dude. This guy is like playing hero ball. Like it's blowing my mind that he's been able to transfer his success to Seattle because they're such a run first team, but it's like all of the lessons he's picked up along the way from these stops are finally like sinking in and working for him. And I'm kind of happy to see it. I really hated Darnold. Even last year, I wasn't that much of a believer, but now I'm like starting to feel good about his story, right? And then at 10, I've got the Packers. So I dropped him 4 spots. And, I hear what you were saying about him. I guess my whole thing was I wanted to ding Detroit. I didn't really see a path to doing it. But for Green Bay, where they were at on the board, and then the loss to Carolina, the inferior opponent, there was a path for me to ding them, and so I did it,
yeah,
even though I didn't necessarily do it for Detroit. And so it wasn't to be biased; it's that I was feeling that I needed to keep Detroit above Tampa Bay, if that makes sense, and so that's kind of my justification for it.
yeah. And that makes sense. Like me with Green Bay, like I just couldn't find a path to drop them because I thought they were. I think probably any other team, if they're playing their A game, Green Bay playing their A game, I think they can beat almost any team in the league. But
Yeah,
they
they
have to
just
be
had a
playing their A game.
blip on the radar. Yeah.
Yeah. So at 11, I have Seattle. I hear what you're saying with Darnold. Like I really like Seattle. I really like what they're doing. I just don't think I'm pausing because I don't trust them
Yeah,
to
what's going to happen in the
yeah
playoffs?
yeah what's going to happen in that big game. Like look at
Yeah.
Darnold last year in the big games against Detroit, in the big game against the Rams. He threw up an egg.
Yeah, and
So
I think that the difference this year is that he's on a team, and I know last year, Minnesota's defense was lights out, right? And so I don't want to like say that that's the difference because Seattle's defense is playing great, but it's the way Seattle's running the ball steadily every game. They're not like lighting the
mhm.
world on fire, but they just like steadily prioritize the run. I think that's the kind of thing that can transfer to success in those tight games where they're not asking Darnold to win it. And so I guess time will tell, right? But you're right. That is going to be the true test for him this season is what's going to happen when you finally get into a pressure situation.
Yeah. And so like Seattle, I moved them up to 1 because I had Washington at 11. I just flipped those 2. So Washington at
Okay.
12, up to 1. Pittsburgh, I moved them up 3. I didn't like moving them up 3, but it's kind of on the board with the Eagles being on the bye and like the 49ers at 15. Like I had to figure out where to put Pittsburgh, and I wanted to move them up. I didn't want to move Philly because I really don't trust Philly, and I want to see what happened with all these fucking deals that have been made.
Yeah.
So I put Pittsburgh at 13, Philly at 14, San Francisco stayed at 15. And San Francisco, man, the fucking injuries are mounting.
Yeah, and I have them in my next chunk here as well, and it blows my mind that they still keep finding ways to win
Mhm.
despite all these injuries. And I mean, this one was against the Giants, so like I'm not going to like say they're, playing full He-Man ball here or whatever, but it's still just impressive that they're finding a way to get it done. So for me at 11, I got the Chargers. In 12, I've got the Patriots. Both of these teams kind of got locked on my board at this spot. I did want to give a little bit more love to New England. The Chargers, I'm still nervous about their offensive line and what's going on there, but
You
it
got to
didn't
catch up.
matter. It didn't matter. I had them locked in anyhow. Um, and I know, were you about to say how they made the trade for the guy from New Orleans?
Oh no, I said you got to catch that talking about the game, but
Okay, okay. So yeah, so the Chargers did make a trade and they got a lineman from the Saints. And so that I want to see how that plays out for them. I think that that could be a big thing for this season, but I need to see it before whatever. But and so then anyhow at 13 I've got the Ravens. I moved them up one spot. Tempted to go higher with Lamar being back now a couple games and looking fairly steady. It just there was nowhere to really go on the board unless I did something like too aggressive, in my opinion, for a team that's only got a couple wins. 14, the 49ers, we kind of already covered that. And then 15, the Bears. It was a nail biter of a game. I wanted Cincinnati to win, but the problem is we've talked about it all year. They show the potential that they can be one of the better competitive teams. They just continue to have these mental errors.
Mhm.
Well, they're now sitting at what, 5 wins or whatever, and they're to me they're in dangerous territory of okay, they clean up a few of these errors, they can make a fucking run now. And so I needed to get them a little bit higher on my board. And so at 15, they're like right at that spot where they're a dangerous team that we got to start watching, man.
Yeah, and I hear you in Chicago. We'll get to them in my next bit where I have 16. I have the Vikings. I moved them up one spot. I moved the Texans down 4 spots. And yeah, this is an instance where they lost to one of my top 10 teams, but the Texans, like,
Yeah, Stroud basically got killed in the first quarter.
exactly. Stroud got killed in the first quarter. Stroud's out this week, probably out for a little bit of time. And I just don't trust that team without Stroud.
Yeah.
18, I put the Ravens. Yeah, they put the beat down, but they put the beat down on Miami. Miami is a fucking hapless team. Like the worst quote I I read this week was who's the coach of Miami,
Oh,
McDaniel,
McDaniel. Yeah, he says some weird shit.
about we lost because they played better than us or some shit like that. I was like, no, really?
Well, yeah, he was saying the one thing I heard was he said it's like it's hard to win when you're playing two teams or whatever. And so he was like
No, no, no,
basically
not that one.
saying, okay, maybe that was last week where he was like,
Yeah,
we're losing to ourselves and we're losing to them.
yeah. I'll find it. I know who retweeted it. Um, so or whatever it's called now.
Yeah,
19, I have the Bears. The Bears, like, so they had that game basically won. And
yeah.
then what then they fucking
They did their mental error Bears thing.
no, like it wasn't even like well, there was a mental error. Fucking the onside kick, like guy goes to block and kicks the ball. Like seriously, but like it was like a fingernail touched the guy as he was going to the ground. Come on, that shouldn't be fucking down by contact. Like like seriously, and that overturned the touchdown, which then they didn't do shit on that drive. Then Cincinnati was able to come and score 2 touchdowns because that would put them up 3. come, come and score, fucking get the onside kick. Like you're right, mental errors, but also like some calls like that shouldn't be considered down by contact. Like if you catch the ball and the guy touches brushes your jersey as you're going to the ground right after you catch the ball and you're fucking called down by contact. All right.
Well, I mean, it's any touch. I mean, you're talking about having to make a rule change.
Yeah. So this is what McDaniel said. They've beaten us because they've scored more points than us and done the right football
Duh.
things longer than we have in those games that we lost. Really? Are you sure? They beat you because they scored more points? What the fuck?
Yes, you just explained a fundamental part of how you win a game.
Yeah. And then at 20, I
And you
have
said they did it. Yeah.
and at 20, I have Jacksonville. Um, I didn't know what to do with Jacksonville because like really that game was a tie. Carroll got aggressive, went for the 2-point conversion, which I love the
Yeah.
aggressiveness, but it was a bad play design. And again, on the goal line, Carroll has a bad play design and they lose a game. All right,
Yeah.
that's go. That's
I did
coming
like,
back.
I liked what you said. I liked the aggressiveness. It sucks seeing it blow up on him. And I think he was getting desperate that he needed that win, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
all right. So for me, it's 16. I've got Houston here. I dropped him 3, and we talked about it. It's what's going on with Stroud is going to be a big factor of where these guys go on the board from here. What I would say is that I was impressed how Davis Mills came in, which we've known Davis Mills as a very steady backup, a very
Hmm.
steady game manager guy, but he did the game manager thing while the defense played lights out and took that game to the end despite Stroud being out for basically 3+ quarters. And
Hmm.
I don't want to smoke Houston. I need to see, can they keep that kind of like cohesiveness going. 17 Pittsburgh, I moved them up 2. My question is their defense really getting it together, or did we just see one good game out of them? Because
Hmm.
they have a shit ton of talent on that defense, especially in the secondary, but they've not played like it all year up until this game. And so it was nice that they got the win, but it could have also just been a bad game for Danny Dimes, who historically has a lot of bad games. And so I don't want to go nuts about Pittsburgh. 18, Minnesota. I'm still having a hard time believing in them. JJ McCarthy, Tom Brady talked a lot in that game about, him needing to develop his passes. He's got a great fastball, but he's lacking some touch and he's lacking some air under the ball. He showed a couple good things in that game. I need to see more of it to believe in him. I think that their defense played fucking phenomenal and rattled Goff, and that was the true difference maker. 19 Jacksonville. That game should have been a blowout, in my opinion. But I did hear before the game that there was almost a chance of Trevor Lawrence not starting because he
Hmm.
had like the fucking flu or something and wanted to power through it. And so I think, Trevor Lawrence not having the strongest of years, but maybe if he wasn't like deathly ill as they described him, maybe it would have been the blowout that we were thinking it could have and should have been. And then at 20, I've got Carolina. It was a nice win, but they're still very inconsistent and just, in my opinion, a weak team overall. So I can't count on them. Can't give them more credit than that, man.
Yeah. So I have at 21, I have Carolina. They kind of were stuck on the board here. Teams ahead of them mostly won, and like I don't want to go too crazy on Carolina beating Green Bay because I think it was more Green Bay giving them the game than Carolina winning the game.
It's a good way of putting
Arizona,
it.
Arizona, I moved up 5 spots to number 22. I really I talked to you about it how like they were talking during the game that Brissett wasn't might not be taken out of the starting role. And
Yeah, he
then
looks fucking legit.
he was named the starter before they put Kyler on IR.
Yeah,
And like it's Brissett in the 3 games he started, He was 3 for 3, having 260 or more yards and 2 passing touchdowns. In the 33 games that Kyler has started with Gannon as the coach, he's done it twice.
Yeah. And by the way, they're playing with a shit offensive line and their third running back. And Brissett, this is the other thing I want to point out is that Kyler in a year and a half or whatever it's been has struggled to get the ball to Marvin Harrison Jr. in a smooth, consistent kind of way. Brissett had no fucking problem doing that. And so I like what I'm seeing with Brissett, man.
Yeah.
It could just be a better fit for that offense.
23 Raiders stayed the same. 24 the Giants stayed the same. 25 the Titans stayed the same. All three of these teams played competitive-ish games against higher ranked opponents that I have. So kind of got to give them a little bit of respect there.
And like, looking at your board, almost everybody else lost from here on out. So it's kind of hard to shift.
Loss are on a bye.
Yeah. All right. So for me at 21, I've got Washington, and I'm sure you're probably a little shocked that I got them down this far. I dropped them 4. I was already lower than you on Washington to begin with. And I think some of that was that, Jaden Daniels was out, whatever. They were actually playing inspiring football while he was out with Mariota, and then he came back. And here's my thing. Watching him play, to me, has been a problem. And now he's going to be out for who knows how long. But then
coaching malpractice. I told you that as soon as it happened.
Why
was he in the game? Why was he still in the game at that point? Yes. The game isn't competitive. He's been injured.
Yeah.
Get his ass out of the game because I think he's going to do what the fuck he can do to score that touchdown, try to bring the team back no matter what, and just kind of live the fight another day. And they didn't do that, and he dislocated his elbow.
Oh, it looked nasty. It looked really nasty. And my other thing is Dan Quinn, aside from that, has been making bad judgment calls for a lot of games this season that have been putting them behind in ways where they could have had more, in my opinion, strategic control of games. And so I just I think that Washington is an incredibly talented roster. They did an amazing job rebuilding it in a very short period of time. But I think Dan Quinn is overplaying it, and it's burning them. And now Jaden Daniels being hurt, even when he was healthy, I kind of thought he was forcing the run too much and doing things that he should have been smarter about at this stage of his career. I know he's only in his second year, but to me, you need to learn, especially when you're his frame, a skinnier mobile quarterback. You need to be smarter about, I'm going to throw it away instead of trying to force a run, or I'm going to be smarter with it than he's been foolish this year, in my opinion, and it's burned him. And so I know that was long-winded, but I needed to get it out. 22 Atlanta, I dropped him down 4. Honestly, I thought they did a good job coming back in that game against New England, but this was one of the wonkier things that happened on my board that I just could not avoid. They had to go down further than probably they deserved, but it's just the name of the game, man. Sometimes the shit works this way. 23 Arizona, we already talked about Brissett and everything there. 24 Dallas, hey, they made some trades. They maybe those trades will help them. I don't really know. I actually am very, very sad. I heard the news about Nealand, passing away.
Well,
oh my gosh.
Have you heard what happened?
Pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy stuff. And I still, my heart goes out to obviously him now resting in peace, but his family, everything like that. That just anytime somebody that has things like that going on in their life, it just there's a lot going on we don't know about, and it's very sad. 25, the Raiders. For me, the Raiders are they're they're at the top of what I would describe as being the struggle bus on my power rankings here. Oh my gosh, they barely got that kickoff. I'm surprised he didn't have more pressure than that. But yeah, back
Well,
to you now at 26.
it looked like a bad snap. I saw it out of the corner of my eye.
Yeah.
26 Jets.
And despite that, they didn't find a way to block it. Like, come on.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
In any other game, that's a blocked punt, dude.
Yeah. 26, I have the Jets. They're on a bye, didn't move. Dallas at 27, like you said, I don't understand why they made the trades. They're out of it. They're done. They're cooked. Move on to next year. Dropped them 5 spots to 27. Saints, 28, they stayed the same. The teams below them, I think, are worse. 29, the Browns, they were on a bye, didn't move them. 30, the Dolphins. I think the 2 teams I have below them are worse, even though those 2 teams played more competitive games.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how that works out, right? And I know exactly what you mean. So for me at 26, it's kind of smooth sailing from here. All the dogs just fucking did what the dogs do, and they either lost or were on a bye. So I got Miami, I got the New York Jets, the New York Giants, then I got the Bengals and the Browns. And I will say this, man, with the Bengals, I am fucking still loving what Joe Flacco is doing in that offense. He is showing that he's still got some juice if you give him weapons like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. It's a matter of everybody else in the world fucking letting down what Joe Flacco's doing for his team. And, we said it earlier in the year with Cleveland that he had a dog shit roster and nobody working with him, but he looked poised and he was making plays. And it's the same thing. He's putting up fucking 40 goddamn points and his defense is sucking dick and shit's going wrong. The dude deserves some kind of fucking medal. I don't know what you would call it, like a Purple Heart NFL kind of medal. You're out there at 40 something years old, trying to save a goddamn team, but everybody's just like fragging your ass. I love what I'm seeing, but it just sucks that he's not getting the results.
Exactly. I hear you there. Dumpster fire for me didn't change. Falcons at 31, Bengals at 32. If it weren't for Flacco, I'd probably have the Bengals ranked like 67.
Yeah. Can we go to like a negative count here? I don't know. And my dumpster fire didn't change either. New Orleans and Tennessee. New Orleans shed a couple pieces, so it's probably not going to get better for them. Tennessee, same thing. I still just it's the Cam Ward thing. I don't know, man. I don't know.
He has some mind-boggling plays.
Yeah.
I would like to go. I would also like to go back to Cincinnati because their special team stepped up in the game too with the opening kickoff.
Yeah, that's right. You told me about that.
It's just their defense that fucking blows.
They're just fucking whatever you want to do on that defense, just do it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to beat the dead horse on Tennessee, but Cam Ward has a lot of growing up to do. He reminds me of Anthony Richardson, except he's lacking the electric plays that we saw out of Anthony Richardson in his rookie year.
Yeah.
Or as many of them anyhow, because he's had a few. He's not had the running plays like Anthony Richardson, but that's all I'm going to say about that.
All right. So that's our power rankings. We'll have to do our 10-minute break now because we have a minute left and come back to
I'm glad you're watching that.
Our game picks.
All right. I'll hit you up in 10, my man.
All right. Sounds good.
We're back.
All right. So we're moving on to the picks, and I fucking blow this year. Good Lord. I have 69 correct. I got 7 this past week, giving me 56%. Woo-hoo.
Wait a minute. Didn't you get... No, you got 7 this past week for 76.
I'm looking at the wrong fucking one. I was trying to do the math, and It doesn't fucking matter. I fucking blow. You're doing fucking great. I have got 7 correct this week. Gives me a 76, 56%.
Okay.
You got 9 correct, giving you a total of 96 or 71%. What the fuck?
I would say you're going to have to start swinging for the fences soon, but I don't want to pressure you into doing some crazy shit because there's still time. It's just going to be running thin here soon.
Yeah, I know. So, anyways, it is what it is. Like, couple things, like, so going into the Chiefs game, I wanted to change. I was like, oh, I should change this. And then I didn't. And then I had a thought, just a half a thought going into the Washington game. And like, so I just did because like, I didn't want to. And it was right before I started to doubt myself. What the fuck?
Yeah, so you could have, hypothetically kind of like washed a little bit. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. Oh, well. Just one big fucking glitch. We're both on Denver tonight, which looks like my fucking picks have all fucking year so far. So
Yeah, but Denver's a fourth quarter team this year. That's how they've been all season, and they're winning games. They just do it at the end.
yards per drive, 4.3.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but like I said, they're a fourth quarter team this year.
All right. So first up, we have the Falcons at the Colts. I think the Colts are better than they showed this past week. I think that was a glitch. I think the Falcons fucking blow, and are worse than they showed this past week. So
Okay.
I'm going to go with the Colts.
All right. Which is weird, right? Because I thought you had Atlanta a lot higher than me on the board, but maybe that's just circumstance.
I have Atlanta 31.
Oh, geez. Okay. I'm mental. I'm mental. Well, then that makes this so much easier because we both had Indy very high.
Yeah.
And yeah, then I'm giving Atlanta way more credit than you. My bad. I'm taking the Colts too, my man. I think that last week was a blip on the radar. I think we've seen enough out of Daniel Jones in that offense to expect a bounce back. If this was like week 3, I would say, oh, it's too hard to tell. He's probably a regular Danny Dimes, but I think that this is overall a better fit for him. And this is a really good team that we've known for years that Indy is talented. They've just been missing the quarterback, and somehow, strangely, Danny fucking Jones seems to be the guy.
All right. Then we have, the best game of the week. The shitty Saints at the so-so Carolina Panthers. The fucking NFC South is terrible. This game probably is going to end up in a tie. It's probably going to be like 3-0 Carolina, some shit like that. I'm on Carolina, but I don't think it's gonna light the world on fire. And I don't know if anybody outside of Carolina and New Orleans are going to be watching the game.
Yeah, I'm taking Carolina. I agree. This is a garbage game. To me, I've got the Saints higher on the board, and it's in Carolina. I mean, sorry, I got the Panthers higher on my board, and it's in Carolina. And then on top of that, we saw this past week, New Orleans traded Rashid Shaheed and a starting offensive tackle, which only makes it harder for Saints rookie quarterback Tyler Shough. And so I got to go Carolina, man.
All right. We have a little switch here for me. We have the Giants at the Bears. I really want the Bears to lose, so I'm going to pick the Giants.
Okay, let me
also
my spreadsheet here.
Every team in the NFC North brought in Asante Samuel Jr. for a tryout, an interview, whatever, except for the Lions. He visited Minnesota. He visited Green Bay. He visited Chicago.
I understand, though, why Detroit didn't bring him in, because tackling is his issue. He's like a ball hawk only cornerback.
Mm-hmm.
And Detroit doesn't want that. Detroit wants a guy that can step up against the run and make tackles. And so I'm good with that.
No, I'm
All
good
right.
with that too. I just thought it was a funny tidbit.
Yeah, especially because of Detroit's secondary issues, you'd think they'd be kicking the tires on anything, but they're staying true to who they are, which I appreciate. This game, I'm going Chicago. I think that the Giants have played some inspiring games this year, and they just, for whatever reason, keep coming up short. Um, Chicago, they've got so much more potential, and they keep seeming like they're getting a little bit more and a little bit more in gear every week. I'm like I said earlier, Chicago's getting dangerous to me, so I got to take the Bears here.
All right. Then we have Jaguars at Houston. Ugh. I don't like either of these teams. I think Houston's defense is the key to this game, which some metrics they're the best defense, some metrics Broncos are the best defense
Yeah.
in the league right now. I'm going to go with Houston in the game because I don't trust Jacksonville, and I don't think Trevor Lawrence is that good.
Yeah, I would say that the way I have my board and the uncertainty with CJ Stroud, which I'm expecting to not play at least this game, right? But
Yeah.
I would say that if the game was in Jacksonville, I would probably take the Jags. But because it's in Houston, I have it that kind of close in my mind that I got to go the Texans, even though it just to me it's a very hard game to pick because I'm not sure what Houston's going to be able to do offensively. So I'll leave it at that.
I think Geno Smith just laid into Brock Bowers on the sideline. I think that's what I was watching, which kind of
Yeah, not a
confused.
smart move because Brock Bowers is like your best fucking player of all time.
Yeah. All right. And we have, should we even talk about this next game? Buffalo at Miami.
Buffalo, moving on.
Yep, exactly. All right. Baltimore at Minnesota. I just don't trust Baltimore to have two back-to-back good defensive games. I don't think Baltimore's offense was really lighting it up that well. Yeah, they put up 28 against Miami. Minnesota's a different defense than Miami, and it's a lot better than Miami. And I think Minnesota's going to win the game. Unfortunately, think Minnesota's going to win the game.
It's all good, man. I like that you picked Minnesota because I think there's merit in that. And I'm taking Baltimore just because they kind of already called it out that they're in do or die mode now, and
Mm-hmm.
they've got to find a way to win. And I think that if you're going to expose the Flores defense, you can do it with a mobile quarterback like Lamar Jackson. And I'm not saying they're going to, but I'm picking them to win because I think there's a case to be made for it.
Yeah. Then we have the Cleveland Browns at the New York Jets.
Oh, the blind playing the blind is what we got
Yeah.
going on here.
Before the Jets fire sale, I was leaning towards the Jets in this game. And where my issue is I think they gave up their best players on defense and then benched Quinnen Williams' brother,
Quincy, yeah.
Quincy. Can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm going to pick the Browns to win this game.
That's fine. I don't think you should, be, laborious over it or whatever, if that's even a fucking word.
Oh,
But
nice
um,
little play.
yeah, see, it's about time Denver gets it in gear. But um, I think those are all very valid reasons to, flip to Cleveland. I'm going to stick with the Jets just because these are both such garbage teams. And I need to see what these moves actually mean for the Jets because,
Mhm.
you know, I mean, I love Quinn Williams. I don't know. I will always love that guy. He's just such a force. But there have been a lot of fucking talks about Sauce Gardner in how phenomenal he was early in his career and maybe the fit not being right now, even though statistically everything backed him up still being a great player. And so I just wonder, is this an Aaron Glenn thinking, I have guys, I don't need these guys, it's going to be okay. I want to give that a chance before I fully abort the Jets, even though, I told you over the weekend, I think Aaron Glenn, or the other day at the trade deadline, I think Aaron Glenn's one and done. But, I want to see it. I want to see it first.
All right, then we have the Patriots at the Bucks. I solely think that Patriots are the better team in this game. I think
Okay.
the I think the Bucks have had touchdown. I think the Bucks have had a lot of come from behind wins, and it doesn't bode well for New England that the Bucks are good at coming from behind, and they let I forget who they're playing come back and almost win the game. Was it Atlanta? Yeah, Atlanta almost come back and win the game. But I just think the Patriots are a better team and should win this game. I'm not sold on the Bucks being able to sustain it with all the injuries they have.
I got you. That makes sense to me. I do like New England a lot at this stage of the season with Vrabel, everything he's doing. They look like a better team every single week. And, if they can keep that trajectory, I mean, they're ahead of schedule on the rebuild that we were talking about earlier in the year. Tampa Bay, I think to me, I still have them very high in my power rankings, but to me, it's they have a week because of the bye to prepare for this game and hopefully, address some of their offensive line issues.
Mm-hmm.
If they can do that, I believe that they come out on top. If they have not been able to find a way to address some of those offensive line issues, I could easily see this game swinging the other way. But I have to give them the benefit of the doubt for now, and I'm going Tampa Bay.
All right. Then we have Arizona at Seattle, and I really wanted to pick Arizona in this game. My hang up on it is Brissett's been playing fairly well the last 3 weeks, and I'm ready for now that he's named the starter and he doesn't have, let's say, Kyler breathing down his
Some of the
neck when
threat, yeah.
some of the threat, especially with Kyler being on IR. I'm concerned about a letdown in this game, and that's why I'm going with the Seahawks. But they're not going. Seahawks aren't going to win it by forcing interceptions. I think I was telling you that
Yeah.
for quarterbacks with a minimum of a thousand attempts, Jacoby Brissett has the lowest interception ratio. It's at like 1.3%.
And I'm glad you shared that, right? And when I looked at the pick for this game, I was very tempted to consider Arizona, but I'm trying to respect my board,
Mm-hmm.
and the game is in Seattle. And then I also kind of thought to myself, even though Brissett is very efficient with the football, he hasn't had to play a defense like Seattle yet. And so he might just have one of those games where it's like maybe not a lot of turnovers, but maybe just not a lot of production, right?
Yeah.
And so I had to kind of like, smell test it and say, I'm sticking with Seattle.
No, I get that, and like I said, I'm concerned of a little bit let down with Brissett this week, also. So,
Yeah.
all right, Then we have the Rams at the 49ers. This one purely, it went on my board. I have the Rams rated significantly higher than the 49ers. I think the 49ers have a shot to win the game, especially like
It's a hot matchup.
yeah, but it seems like McVay is finally going to break through against San Francisco because I don't think he's beaten them once in his career or twice, some ridiculously number like that. So I'm going to go with the Rams.
Yeah, to me, this is a pure board play. I've got the Rams creeping dangerously high, and San Francisco's like barely hanging in the middle of the pack. Um, I did think about what you're saying, which is like somehow Shanahan just keeps stumping McVay, but it's like, man, at some point it's gotta happen. And I can't make a better case for the Rams than now with all the fucking injuries the 49ers have. And so I get it in San Francisco, but this is like the one deal. They're that far apart on my board. In all these factors combined, I gotta take the Rams.
And then we have the Detroit Lions at the Washington Commanders. Revenge game for the Lions. Last revenge game they had was last year. Last real revenge game they had was last year at Dallas, where they went in and thumped them. I think that's going to happen again. Hopefully, I haven't checked the TV guide, but I think I'm going to be stuck with the fucking Rams game and not the Lions game, which is fucking utter bullshit again. But I'm going to pick the Lions because I think they're going to go in there and thump them, especially with Daniels being out. I don't. I've talked about it. I don't fully trust Mariota.
No, you can't. I mean, obviously, he's a journeyman at this stage of his career, and his win-loss record's actually like pretty goddamn flattering for a backup quarterback. But he is a backup quarterback, and I would say with Detroit, the revenge game. I know what you're saying, but they did have sort of like an avenge game against Chicago earlier in the year, right? And so, like, Detroit can have these moments where they just like get fucking pissed and go nuts.
Mm-hmm.
What I would say that you got to be cautious about in this game is that Dan Quinn is a fucking ninja with his defense. And sure as shit, he's watching everything on tape that Minnesota did against us last week. And he's trying to figure out how does he incorporate that, because if he can rattle Goff like Minnesota did, he gives them a chance. That being said, I'm still taking Detroit.
And we're on to Sunday night. Oh, we forgot to say that Atlanta Indy isn't at Indy; it's in Berlin.
Okay.
We have Sunday night Steelers at the Chargers. I was really tempted to pick the Steelers in this game. Like, their defense played phenomenal, but like you said, I don't know if that was just Daniel Jones having an off day or if that was their defense being back to form. I don't trust that it was back to form. The Chargers have kind of been stumbling a little bit lately. I think that they get right a little bit in this game and the Chargers win.
Yeah, I mean, man, I think there have been certain exceptions with Rodgers this season where he's had moments where he could push the ball down the field. But I think most games, most of the time, he's been limited in being able to push the ball deep down the field. I think the Chargers are a good enough defense. They were one of the better defenses last season. I know this year it's been a little bit different, but I think some of that's because of the complementary type of exchange with their offense. I think they can slow down Rodgers. They can hinder that offense. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm still very speculative of Pittsburgh because of Rodgers, even though
Mhm.
I am a huge fucking Tomlin fan and I'm giving the edge to the Chargers. It makes sense on my board. It makes sense in like the narrative in my mind. I don't know. I do think I'm being biased to the negative on Pittsburgh. And I guess I feel like I need to justify that somehow.
Oh, that's all good. Then we have Monday Night Football, the Eagles at the Packers. I don't have these two teams close on my board whatsoever. I have Packers
Yeah,
at
you're
5,
negative on Philly. I know.
Eagles at 14. They did just make some moves. Eagles did. We'll see what those turn out to be. But I think Green Bay is gonna come ready for this game and play a regular game of what Green Bay should be versus what they played last past week. I'm gonna go with the Packers, but I'm not that confident in it.
No, I mean I hear you, man, and for me, I think Philly is a very solid team still. I've got them in my top three, right? And I think it helps that they're coming off the bye going into Green Bay. Otherwise, I would have them close enough on my board that I would probably opt for Green Bay in this scenario. If Philly was not on a bye last week, I would probably take the Packers, but it's that close to me, and so I'm taking Philly.
All right, and then we're on to the Thursday night game, the Jets at the Patriots. It might change if we see something weird happen. Of course, depending on
Yeah,
Denver again.
Drake may get smoked or
Yeah,
whatever. I don't know.
or like the Jets come out and even though they traded away like all their talent on defense, have like fucking best defensive game of the year of any team.
Yeah. Oh, ha ha. We were hiding this all year. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean I don't foresee anything like that happening. I'm going to probably end up sticking with New England. I don't
Yeah.
I don't know what I want to see the Jets before I'm
You
confident in.
you always reserve the right to change, and as do I, as we should, because you just never know. Anything can happen. And that's cool. I'm taking the Patriots also. I think they are the far superior
Mhm.
team. It's in New England. I would say the only thing that you ever worry about in this kind of matchup is that it's a divisional game, which makes it very unpredictable. But that's about it.
Well, that and because it's a divisional game, I wouldn't I wouldn't identify it as a potential trap game
Sure.
because I think they oh no, they have an easy schedule right now. I was thinking they played the Bills after the Jets, but they played the Bills after the Giants.
Gotcha.
I don't trust Jets. That's our picks for tonight.
All right. Well,
Any final thoughts? Words
yeah,
of
I'm
encouragement
just
for those people
wondering.
that are fucking struggling making game picks?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm wondering what are you doing differently this year from last year? Because I know in past years you used to look at a lot of sports books and you'd get all these like crazy stats and things and that would help you usually would help you pick against the grain, but like some of those picks would work, right? And so is it this year you're just going more off the cuff or what's changed is what I want to know. Or is
So
it
like
just a bad fucking year?
I think it's just kind of just a bad year. Like haven't been exactly too motivated to do that much like the last month.
Because of the work situation?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah,
And
you're okay.
and then on top of that, it's like Like I'm trying to find, because I'm so far behind. I'm trying to find those ones, those like upsets versus trying to find like the close games. Like I probably like I told you, like I should have picked Buffalo. That was a prime for me to switch, and I didn't. Or 2 weeks ago, not really going back and looking at it, and that's really where where like I started to really decline was like a couple in the last like 3-4 weeks.
Well, yeah, and I could see that because it does seem like in the commentary you have these um like gut hunches, but you're not making the switch.
Yeah, like I talked about last week. Like Carolina is the perfect example.
Oh my gosh, he dropped that. Oh,
Like
yeah.
last week, I was talking about how like I would love to see Carolina win. I think they can do it, but I can't pick them to win.
Yeah, logically it's a hard pick, but it would have been right. And it seems like some of your hunches, I would say, are majority right. And
Yeah,
it would help change things in the overall pick scheme of things. You know, it wouldn't be like a night and day change, right? But it would help you start chipping away, I guess is what I'm saying.
yeah,
But
exactly.
I don't want to encourage you to start embracing that. I'm just trying to figure out is it that or something else or what's going on. So,
Yeah, it's like a combination of like that and like I don't have well, I have like all fucking downtime right now, and I don't feel like doing a damn thing.
yeah, it's like it's the lack of inertia.
Yeah,
You know, if you were busy, as soon as you finally got free time, you would still feel like, oh, well, I'm just going to keep busy because I got it going, right?
exactly.
Yeah, I hear you, man. All
So
right, well, we got I don't know, a few minutes here. What do you want to do? You want to shut it down and then, well, let's shut it down and have a chat, man.
that sounds good.
Gridiron Grinder. Hut hut hike.